you get the kind of service that you desire. So I'm only going to focus on this last element, which is saying B trips, which is to do with improving transport and what is the IT intervention required to actually move from where we are to, let's say, we are benchmarking ourselves to a London or a Singapore or a Paris, any one of these cities. Because as Bangalore and as manpower with wherewithal to do IT, I'm sure that's not a great challenge. So let's just look at this last item. To my mind, today we are driving completely blind. We don't know how any development is going to impact traffic flow. And I'm talking from a macro perspective here. So there are new layouts which are coming up. There are commercial hubs like, let's say, Manyata Tech Park or the Embassy Golf, large ones which come up, or industrial, nodes like the Electronic City or any other, let's say, Bidadi is coming up as an industrial node close to us. We have absolutely no idea on how traffic is going to change because any of this is coming in. At a micro level, you have malls replacing, what was earlier a defunct industrial plot or a reasonably well to do industrial plot. Large office spaces coming in, one-way systems being instituted, flyovers in place of junctions. Again, we have no idea on how this is going to impact traffic in the immediate surrounding. And nor do we have the wherewithal to do it. Coming down from a city perspective, if I were to just talk about myself, and if I'm not to use my car, and if I have to use public transport, then certain questions come to mind. Which route should I take? So if I'm here and I need to go back to my office, which is off Racecourse Road, I don't know which route to take. Which bus? Is there an interchange to a metro? Where should I interchange? Should it be a combination, or will I have a single bus which takes me from here right up to Racecourse? I don't know. I don't know when my bus or train will arrive. So I will need to wait at the bus station, probably ask the closest pan dukan wala on saying, or the cigarette vendor, when do these buses come, and take his word for it. I don't know whether there is a maintenance block on my route. So yesterday there were instances of trees falling all over the city. So I don't know which of these routes have been blocked and which are being diverted. I don't know where I can park my car and take the bus. I have no idea unless I live in that locality. So this is the first time I've come here. So if I have to go back and there was an option to take a cycle from somewhere, I really don't know where I can park it. I really have no idea. I don't know whether parking is available if I go now. I also don't know how much my journey will cost. So if I have to shift from private to public mode, as a, so today if you look at the cross-section of people taking public mode, they're largely doing it because they don't have another choice. And that's the most affordable way for them to get from place A to place B. But all those who have a choice need to know all of these questions for them to shift. Also, there are other things that it has to be comfortable, it has to be accessible, etc., etc. Now, what do cities do? Most cities, for macro level planning, own a transport model. All cities like London, Paris, etc., they have a transport model, which is a macro transport model. And everything which is to be done at a land planning level then gets embedded into the transport model to understand what is the impact on transport and then plan for that again. To my mind, Bangalore also has a macro transport model which is done for the metro, but it's probably 2008, 2009 vintage and hasn't been updated ever since. Whereas cities abroad, they keep updating it every year, if not one, if not twice, at least once a year. That's how you get to know what's happening in your city and plan for it to the future. Micro models, again, you have a lot of micro models available where you have to analyze on what happens if you do a flyover. There's so much of hue and cry about the steel flyover, but it's more to do with saying trees are being cut, but I haven't seen a single article which really comes up with data and analysis on saying, okay, if you do this flyover, fair enough, maybe these two junctions will be eased of congestion, but this is what is going to happen right through the city on either side. So, and unfortunately, the domain for all of this seems to be with traffic police. So that's an institutional problem, because traffic police, their main aim and remit is enforcement and not planning. So there has to be an agency which is planning for the city, which there is an agency called the ULP, but it doesn't have the institutional reach over the traffic or the BBMP to drive these points. If I were to plan for myself, then this is what London has. So if you were to go to this website called Transport for London, there's something called a journey planner. So you could select which modes you want to do. You could select the fastest route. You could select route with fewer changes, route with least walking, access options. Say that, I don't want routes which have stairs. I want to use only routes which have escalators. You could select that. You could select the cheapest route and do all of this, and you will have many more options. You will try it out once you're back in your rooms today. So this is where they are today in terms of information which is available to a person who wants to use public transport. And that's why you see so many people using public transport. Of course, there is also the other side of it, which is, see, this is the carrot, there is the stick as well, which is to do congestion pricing, parking isn't cheap, etc. So for us, if we have to get to this, what do we have to do? 5 simple things. You need to have a GIS map, all assets and attributes mapped onto that, which is, in this particular case, transport assets. GPS-based tracking of all buses, which would give you real-time information of bus stands, either at the bus stand or through mobile app. Mapping of all parking facilities in the city. Integration of fares and ticketing, which ideally should be BMTC, BMRC, and the parking. And sharing of data by all transport providers, so that if there is a roadblock which the traffic police has enforced, you know that there is a roadblock. So which is what Mr. Gautam was referring to when he said that you need to share data across entities. But now if you were to look at how easy is it to actually get just doing these 5 or 6 things. And if I were to look at it, and like I said, this is my part of it, so no pictures, just textual stuff. So how easy is it? And if you were to look at it from 3 different lenses, the institutional lens, the technology lens, and the operational lens. A GIS map of the city. Institutional lens, today, I think Bangalore, across the different institutions, have different GIS maps of different vintages. So BESCOM has one, dated X. BBMP has another one, dated some other time. And BWSSB has a third one. It can't work that way. So you need to have a single GIS map which is owned by the city. Delhi has a SPV, a separate company which is created, which owns the GIS map for Delhi. It has an act. Under the act, there is this company which has been created, which owns this. So it looks very nice that there is an act, there is a company. The company has been given a lot of powers under the act. The chairperson of the company is the Chief Secretary of Delhi, the most powerful administrative officer. Despite that, they do not get data from all the participating entities. So they have a map which is, again, of the particular vintage, but all GIS maps have to be live tools. It cannot be a tool at X point in time, because the way our cities are changing, if it is, X point in time, it's irrelevant. you need to go out there and survey it again. So despite all of this, Delhi is just halfway there. And Bangalore is nowhere close. So you need to get that institutional mechanism in place. Technologically, not so much of an issue, except that, you need to make sure that all the participating entities are on the same platform and sharing data. Again, operationally a challenge. Like I said, Delhi is still facing a challenge. GPS-based tracking of buses in the Bangalore context, since BMTC is the only service provider, institutionally not much of a challenge. Technologically, again, very well proven. You're all using, although those are not GPS tracked, but Ola, Uber, pretty much the same technology. Operationally, a nightmare, because nobody wants to be supervised or be under surveillance. So BMTC has been struggling with this for the last 2.5 years. Delhi has been struggling it for more. So, drivers don't want to be supervised. So every now and then you would find GPS devices damaged or stolen. So you really, it's a nightmare to keep it running. Mapping of all parking facilities is something which I think BBMP should do ASAP, because I don't think today we have a clue on what's on street, what is the kind of on-street parking available, how many cars on MG Road, for example, or how many cars on Church Street. We don't know. How many cars in or vehicles on a multi-level parking. We don't have a clue. We don't have data on the inventory of private parking available. Ideally, all of this should be available on the same platform. Somebody like you or me, if I do choose to go by my private mode to a particular point and then want to switch over to public transport, should be able to see that yes, there are 5 scooter parking or bike parking available. I go there, park my bike, take the public transport and move on. Integration of fares and ticketing. This is a huge technological, although as such technologically very, very possible, but operationally extremely difficult, because both are, it's entirely vendor driven. So if you've chosen, BMTC has gone ahead and chosen vendor X for doing their smart card, and BMRC is vendor Y, they just won't talk. And if they have to integrate, you would have to pay for the integration of different softwares, and in the government system and the way change management of IT has to be handled, it's going to take a very, very long time. Again, institutionally, it's a big problem, because there isn't a single unified metropolitan transport authority which can drive all of this. So decisions are taken individually by different corporations, while the city is to provide the transport. BBMC is nowhere in the picture. Sharing of data by all transport providers, again a huge problem, because each of them have their own vendors, and it's entirely vendor driven in terms of what kind of data can be provided, what can be shared, what can be integrated. So this is entirely, so just doing one small part of transport and doing just these 5 has all of these problems to be surmounted before you see success. So is it worth taking all that pain? If you were to do all of this, then what do you get out of that? Apart from the fact that to my mind, to do this will take nothing less than 4 to 5 years if all these institutions were to put their heads together and they were to be driven from an administrative perspective, maybe by the chief secretary, from a political perspective by the BBMP mayor and the minister in charge and all of that. Still it would take 4 to 5 years for all of this to happen. So why do you want to do this? So one is obviously if you don't do it, you're kind of hurtling towards self-destruction in terms of not being able to move within maybe 10, 15 years of time, because road space remains what it is. It provides huge data for planning, and the GIS itself is a common platform which all the agencies involved have to use for planning that, and that's the only sustainable way of keeping Bangalore a city which is relevant into the future. It also provides the platform for interdepartmental coordination. You've seen many instances where something done today, dug up tomorrow. Somebody does something today, the cable is cut tomorrow. So these kind of issues also get sorted out once you are on a technological platform. From a pure transport perspective, Bangalore has about 6,400 buses, which is, I think Delhi has 8,000. Delhi's population is maybe 1.8 times Bangalore. So somewhere there is this optimization of fleet in terms of routing, scheduling is not happening, purely because there is no data. All of what BMTC does today is based on some historical analysis. They've done the routing. After that, most of it is politically driven. You need a route starting from point A to point B. Somewhere somebody is powerful enough to move it, and that gets started. There's no data for BMTC to even refute that. So, you need data to start services, you need data to stop services. So that's where you need all of this data, and that is where fare and having integrated automatic fare helps, because you know exactly who's traveling from where to where based on data, not the individual, but you have that mass of data to know that yes, there are so many people traveling from JP Nagar right up to Indiranagar or X place to Y place. So then you can actually schedule and reroute your buses. Planning of feeder services. Again, input for planning how people would do that last mile bit. TOD, which is transit-oriented developments, which is one of the key ways of cities to raise finances, because there isn't any other way to do these large public transport projects. And of course, finally, demand-side management, because that is where you have to crack the whip and say that, okay, if parking is expensive, then you need to pay that to use your car. And that's how you can actually do all of this and make sure that on the one side you're making public transport easier to use, but on the other side you're also making private transport more expensive to use. So this is what I just wanted to present as saying, if you were to just take that one last small item on the left bottom of that whole slide, this is what it takes to just achieve that one item and to reach London. So if you have to do all of those items, you can well imagine how much of time and energy it will take for Bangalore to move to where London is. This is not to inspire each one of you to apply for a student visa and leave the country, but hopefully inspire you to get into the planning side of it and contribute towards making Indian cities a better place. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that techno-managerial insight. It sets a very relatable pace for us for our discussion on Smart Bengaluru. For our session 1, third speaker would be Ms. Brinda Sastry. We know Brinda Sastry, ma'am, is an independent urban planning and design consultant and adjunct faculty at Masters in Architecture Urban Design Program at Army College of Architecture. As an architect, urban designer and planner, she's worked with various private, public and non-profit organizations on regional, city and neighborhood level projects in India and abroad. She was involved in Bangalore's Master Plan 2015 and BMR. She has planned and implemented participatory processes for JNURM projects in Panaji, Goa, and has developed zonal regulations for transit-oriented development areas in Portland, Oregon and Bangalore. In her involvement with the non-profit sector, Brinda ma'am provides technical assistance to citizen groups on various urban planning matters and advocates for institutional arrangements that shape urban settlements within the framework of inclusivity, equity, disaster resilience and sustainability. I invite Brinda ma'am to please present her speech. Thanks.
Hello everyone, I hope you're still awake and alert enough to listen to another half hour of some sort of presentation on smart cities. What I'm going to do today is basically speak from the perspective of an urban planner and an urban designer, and kind of touch upon a few points that have already been discussed, and hopefully I will skip a little bit because some of it has already been introduced by the previous speakers. This discourse on smart city is really important for people like us in the design profession, particularly because we would like to ensure that the outcomes of a smart city are actually bringing about responsible and well-managed results and things that would influence the design of our cities. As urban designers, we must see the discussion